this is where you're at right now, but this is not your forever. Keep training, keep practicing, and it will get better.
Peace, and welcome to the Art4Artists podcast, where we explore the experience of artists, one artist at a time. I'm your host, Dios Mac, and today, the Art4Artists podcast has been growing episode at a time. We've had somebody reach out with their manager on the last episode. We've had GMs, A&Rs, painters, we going up in the first 9 episodes, but today is a first. Today is the first day we have a woman on the show. Clap it up. There's nobody in here except her. Clap it up. Clap it up. Thank you. We did it. Now, I was at an open mic. I had a rough day and I decided, let me drink a whole bunch before I go on stage and perform. Then I go there and get my favorite drink, which is an Incredible Hulk, which is Hennessy and Hypnotic. Not a good idea. Then this lovely young lady, I see this lovely young lady in the spot, and I'm like, wow, she's fire. But I'm not gonna get distracted because I gotta focus on this performance. That's called nervousness. That's called nerves. I didn't listen to the nerves, but then magically she's charging her phone next to where I'm standing. Yes, distraction accepted. We start chatting, and the first thing that she says is she's a comedian. Now, call me old-fashioned or maybe just a shallow nigga, but pretty girls usually don't gotta be funny, in all honesty, but this one decides to be. We chatted up. She starts giving me info about how I should perform. She gives me all the keys and tricks and how I could actually be on stage and do right. And I didn't listen to none of them, and I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't listen to not one of the directions the first time, and I bombed on stage. But the next week I came back, I applied everything she said, and I did much better. Lo and behold, she was there. And I was like, all right, well, let me tap more in and listen to her more. Asked her about being on the podcast. She starts telling me about the jokes that she's thinking. I'm like, this is not a regular conversation. Like, this is a little deeper than just, oh, you look good, I look good. It's more like you are an artist and I'm an artist. And that's a deeper level of connection. So today, without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you Bunny, a comedian,
Actress.
Excuse me, a comedian and actress, and a pleasure to have on the show. Welcome, Bunny. How are you?
I'm good.
Amazing.
Hey, everybody.
We're here with our first woman, and I'm grateful. I'm just happy. Let's do this. Tell us a little bit about your background and how you got into comedy or acting.
Okay, my name is Bunny. I'm from the Bronx. I'm half Jamaican, half Nigerian. Yay! I've always been in performing arts. Like, I was taking dance classes when I was a child, and the drama club and all kinds of things, like, throughout my life. So, like, performing arts has always been there. So even cheerleading, I guess. But, like, I've been always active in some aspect, like whether it's an extracurricular activity or in classes, etc. But I was going to school for business, and I went to school for business, and it was great, but I wasn't passionate about it. And I started to work on set, like doing background work, stand-in work, a little bit behind the scenes production, like PA work and stuff like that. And then I was just like comfortable with this. So I just kept going and working on set. And then it became a thing where I was working as like a bartender, a waitress, and then working on set until I decided to make the leap of faith in, I think, like 2018, to like pursue everything full time and not have a regular job. So all my money was made working on set. And then before I decided to become full time with working on set, I knew I was already doing comedy. Like, I want to say the very, very, very end of 2016. That's when I went to an open mic. I brought my friends with me.
Wow.
We all dressed up. We went to some spot downtown, and I was like, I wanted to try it. Like I had been talking it up for like weeks and weeks and weeks and months. And then eventually I just said, I'm ready. My friends came with me. We went out, and the hosts are like, y'all look like Fashion Week. What y'all doing here? And I was like, I'm going out. And they were like, what? They were looking at me crazy, like, you sure you're coming up here? And I was like, I signed up. And they were like, okay, good. Wait, we can't wait to see. So when I got up there the first time, it was good. It's like, when you're a comedian, the first time you go, it's good because it's like, hey, it's her first time. Even if everything is, it's a different material. You don't sound like everybody else.
Right.
But like you start here and then you drop because the next performance is like, oh, we seen you already. So it's like, like it's like, oh, this is her second time performing, this is her third time performing, this is her first, like, this, she only been doing this for a month, she's only been doing this for 2 months. So people, the novelty wears off. That's where the work begins. As a comedian, that's where the work begins. So I'm going around the city. I'm going I'm like, I don't really, like, I talk with my hands a lot. I'm sorry.
Go for it.
But like the works began as the novelty wore off. I was used to the acting spaces where I go to audition. They email you the sides. You practice it for like a day or two or a week. You go, you sit down. There's a whole group of people that are auditioning for the same thing. You go in the room, you do your best. They either give you a call back or they don't. And that's what I was used to. But like with comedy, it's all your own original thoughts and materials. And you're trying not to, you have to learn how to sound like yourself and not like everybody else. And then sprinkle in bits and pieces of you, but you could speak about any topic. Like there's no rules to it. So it's like after the first month and a half, that's where the work really begins with performing on stage, because it's like the novelty wore off. Everybody goes on stage for the first time. Like everybody turns 18. There's a new comedian that comes outside every day and say, this is my first time. And they get to shine. They get the what is it? Like courtesy.
Right.
They're the ones that get like, like coddled at first. But then after the novelty wears off, you really have to start writing. That's where you learn like, okay, how can I make my stuff funny? Because it was funny the first time I went up, and I want people to laugh again. And you're chasing like the laughs and entertaining the room, and majority of the room understanding you and feeling you and liking your material. So that's always a difficult thing. And then you have to learn how to customize your materials. Like, okay, I won't talk about this joke in this room because this demographic's different. Or I won't talk about that in that room because that room's different demographics, different race, different ages, different locations. You got to be able to mix it up. So that's basically like how I got into it, how I've been doing it, and how I've been functioning for the past, I want to say like 6-7 years now, doing on and off. I took a break in 2021 to 2023. So yeah, so do with that what you will with the math.
Shout out to the myth of the starving artist being ended by her life. Because the reality is most artists are not saying I live off of production or I live off, like being able to find a way to fund your life through art is a gift in itself. So kudos to you. We're going to go right into the next question. You were very informative with the first one.
Sorry, I'm so long-winded.
No, sorry. That was perfect. What struggles did you find along your journey that may have kept you from making art?
So, opening up about myself. Like I keep to myself a lot. I think it's kind of like a upbringing thing. Like if like, I want to say like, especially like African people, like we kind of just are thick as thieves, and like on the outside to everybody else, like we're kind of just like, we just move around in the world and we mind our business, we do our work. Like our biggest thing is like, I don't know, right? Because it's like, okay, let's say there's some drama going on in the workplace, but it has nothing to do with you and you're just a bystander, and then they ask you your opinion. You're kind of just play like that role of like, I don't really know what's going on, but I hope everything works out, because you want to just work and mind your business and keep your job, right? So I'm a very private person like that, even though like my life is not super crazy like that. But having to open up about personal stuff as material, realizing that somebody can get a laugh, but at the same time think and maybe relate to what I'm talking about. Having to put relatable material, that was my struggle. Also, with acting, as far as the acting side was is fine. Like you audition, you either get it or you don't. It's like really straightforward. But with comedy, it's a lot of politics. I know people are gonna get upset when I say this. There's a lot of politics, there's a lot of cliques, there's a lot of just like, if somebody looks at you and doesn't like you, they could tell someone not to book you. And that could be someone who, that person could just look at you. I don't like her. I don't like Bunny. And will say just like, oh, being around her is not a good look or something like that. And then someone who was nice to me the first time they met me, they might act like they don't even see me when I'm like, oh, hey. They'll just ignore me. You know, that happens. Or just like, even with being a woman in comedy, there's men who, if you don't exert your dominance and really just are straightforward on like your goals and what you're trying to do, will try to take advantage. You know, like they'll add there's some men in comedy that will use the little bit of power they have, or they're producing a show or something like that, and they will try to date you in order for you to get stage time. Like they'll be like, oh, go on with me. Yeah, let's talk about your career. Let's write together and stuff like that. Oh, I'll put you on my show, but let's hang out. Like that kind of stuff. So it's like having to duck and dodge and navigate and stuff like that is very difficult, because I remember I had a boyfriend at a point when I was doing comedy, and people stopped booking me. People stopped booking me because I had a boyfriend.
Right.
I'm like, so you only book me because I'm single? That's wild. What do the married women do?
Right.
That you find attractive? Like it's crazy. Like that I would have to deal with stuff like that. It's like, I feel like for the most part with the women, it's not really a thing. There's a few catty moments which I don't ever understand. Those are usually the catty girls are like the ones who are like the most like, oh, I'm women's empowerment realness. Like, But yeah, those are the struggles I have in the game.
That is I feel like that's something that, like, in all parts of the industry you find yourself navigating, because like the entertainment industry is one of the few places that it doesn't, like, it has rules, but it don't have rules. You get what I mean? Like
the lines are blurred.
Yeah, like in normal society, it's not okay for an adult to say that a child is attractive. But in the entertainment industry, a child that has a good-looking face, like I forgot which actor this was, but she literally made it because grown men were finding her attractive like a woman. If that made sense. So like in itself, like entertainment in itself has these blurred lines that I believe makes it very, like, we're getting to a point, especially in 2024, where a lot of things are being unveiled of how things have been operating underground. But the reality is, I believe, like, when it comes to entertainment and it comes to something that is literally based off of looks, it's based off of, like, at the end of the day, there's something called pretty privilege. There's going to be the prettier person's always going to get more roles. The single person that people believe they have access to is going to get more roles. It's even proven better for a person's career to hide the fact that they're in a relationship. So it's an interesting industry to be in, and I believe you're, like, especially because I can always appreciate the struggles of, especially you, where it's a woman in comedy, like that has always been such a hard line.
It's not even just being a woman. It's a woman and being a black woman in comedy.
Right.
Because the thing is, it's like, when and I don't, I know some people are gonna get upset, but it's like even with non-black women in comedy, right? They want us to be in solidarity with them, but a lot of times they don't reciprocate. Like they want us to welcome them in spaces like, for instance, Harlem Nights, right? They feel like we're supposed to roll out the red carpet for them uptown, right? In outer parts of Brooklyn and places where we perform. But when we go to their spaces, the energy is not the same.
Right.
So like with a lot of non-black women in comedy, I feel like sometimes they use us as a stepping stone.
Hmm.
You know, get a little bit of the sauce and bring it back to their place and don't book us. Instead of bringing the sauce, y'all stealing the sauce and then y'all remaking it the wrong way and selling it to your people.
Right.
And getting popular off that. How many times you see a white comic, a woman, trying to cosplay as a black woman, a Latina, a Asian, anybody who's not black, trying to have the black accent, trying to have the jargon, and they're from Ohio.
Right.
They're like from Ohio and just moved to New York. Like you're trying to sound like Cardi B, and like no shade, stop. But it's like they hang around us to try to get our essence. I've been approached by like non-black comedians, like, tell me stuff about yourself, tell me interesting stuff about yourself, so you can use me as material to further enhance your opportunities and make you sound more interesting. No, like bring me in the room, which a lot of them don't. So it's a lot of struggles. It's like we could be here all day long, but I won't bore y'all, and we got to get through these questions.
No, that's definitely something that's part of the artistic journey. I believe we're all, especially in the black community, like we're the source of culture. So a lot of the time,
but then the men,
people are taken from us.
But then the men uplift them over us. A lot of them uplift them over us. Like there's lineups where there will be they'll literally have a Black History Month show and a white girl's there. The only female presence, the one female they pick, the one woman they pick is a white woman or a non-black woman on a Black History Month show. Hey, I don't know.
What is your most prized creation and why?
My most prized creation is I think I have a few bits about like mixing like economics and accounting with comedy and explaining some of my explaining how the world is operating and how it shouldn't operate. I think just my talent and my light. I think even just me being in the room with people and talking with other people, and just what was the question again? I know it's like
what is your most prized creation?
My most prized creation, I don't know. It's just like it's something intangible, because it's like when I do comedy, like I'm proud of what I write. I'm proud of what I perform. I perform an array of things. I don't have a comedy album yet. I'm working on some things. So the prize creation is on its way. And also, even like with acting and stuff, like I'm writing something, so that's a prize creation in the making. That's how I feel like my stuff is in the making.
That is a perfect question. I mean, perfect answer for the next question. What do you see for you and your art if you could paint your future?
My own show.
Wow. Okay.
My own show. Like that is the end goal. My own show. I won't say what it is because y'all like to steal. So just my own show, and I'm gonna put it like that because I'm just a ball of talent. Like I'm just a multi-gifted person. Like I can't sing, but I can dance.
Mm-hmm.
Like hip hop, contemporary, um, jazz, commercial style, performance style. Like I can do that. I do comedy. I'm an actress, and I'm a writer because I write all my own stuff.
Mm.
So it's one of those things where I'm just a ball of talent, and it's like it could be. I just need a show, so you can see everything, and then also bringing on musical guests and stuff like that,
Right.
and people in the industry at different levels to like interview and stuff like that, like a kind of like a talk show.
Yeah. I
Yeah,
can see that. That sounds like it's being manifested here on the Art4Artists podcast, the Bunny Talk Show. Uh, stay tuned.
the
Uh,
bunny show.
the Bunny Show. That's fire. If you had one chance to motivate the next creator to get up and start their journey, what would you tell them?
Get your ass up.
Hmm.
Period. Like where you're at right now is where you're at. It's funny because my dance teachers, like they like when I got back into dance in the end of 2021, like I was so rusty. I hadn't danced in 4 years. I hadn't been in a dance class in 4 years. Like I
Hmm.
was off that completely. I was just on my acting grind and starting up with the comedy, and there was just no room to get back into dance. I got back into dance, and like I was just doing terrible for weeks and weeks and taking
Wow.
classes, and but I kept going. And the reason why I kept going because what my one of my dance instructors would tell me, well, all of them would say, but like one in particular, Yvonne Marie, she would say, she was the heels teacher. She would say, "This is where you're at right now, but this is not your forever. Keep training,
Hmm.
keep practicing, and it will get better." There's some people that are in this room that have been with me from a year, and they look completely different from how they looked the first time they took my class.
Right.
So for the next person, I would say get up, and no matter where you're at, you might not have everything planned out. The first step and the main step is getting up and doing it.
Hmm.
Like if you're in music, go to an open mic. If you're a comedian, go to an open mic. If you're an actor, take headshots. Take those paid headshots, because paying for those headshots are going to motivate you to go on the casting websites, sign up, and start getting to work. That's
Right.
going to motivate you, not just pretty pictures to put on Instagram. Like it's more than Instagram. Don't even worry about looking crazy in front of friends and family, because when you become successful, they're going to forget about judging you for looking crazy and doing something different. And when the success comes, they're going to be like, "I always knew you can do it."
Hmm.
You hear the stories all the time from people that become super rich and successful and famous, that no one believed in them. It was lonely. They got the most support from strangers.
Hmm.
They lost so many friends along the way. You're going to lose friends. Being an artist, being an entertainer in the making is a lonely road. Find like-minded people and keep the people that been in your life and been around, keep them around. And if those people will stay and support you, then keep them around. But if they're wishy-washy, or they become distant, or they don't support you ever, leave them behind. Don't pick up the phone. They're not picking up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. If they don't come to any shows, don't pick up the phone.
Hmm. Where okay, we got great time. Where do you and that was a great answer. That was actually, I love the way that you went into the dance instructor moment. Like I love that idea of starting wherever you're from and just taking the journey, because
Yeah.
that's what it really is. Like it's all about reps, no matter what you're doing. It could be cooking, it could be cleaning, it could be any
Yeah.
aspect of your life can be improved simply by doing it, instead of thinking about like how many ways you shouldn't, how many reasons not to, being ashamed, family members information, all that stuff. Like a lot of people don't understand that I wrote this like 2 days ago. I think like a creator can't take advice from many other people because a lot of people are creators. So most of the time it's like I'm an actor taking advice from a non-actor. I'm not going to get better at acting. You got to take advice from like-minded individuals and finding people that, you know, there's a tribe in every art form. And whether you're a artist, a painter, you find your tribe of a bunch of other painters. You know, you're a musician, you got to find your tribe of not only music makers, but music makers that make sounds like you know, and that are on your frequency, you know. So great answer. It inspired me.
Thank you.
Where do you mostly draw your inspiration?
Mostly where I draw my inspiration is from like my friends, my family, my life experience,
Mm-hmm.
um, just like what's going on in the world, and like for people who don't have a voice, like for voiceless people, like people in the Bronx I see all the time, like every day, like when I leave my apartment, like what I see, like a mom struggling with like 2 3 kids, like trying to go grocery shopping,
Right,
or
right.
in the supermarket trying to buy stuff and trying to control the children, and she's doing it on her own. Or she's leaving, like one day I seen this girl, she's leaving a cab and she had her baby and she's by herself. The Uber driver did not help her.
Mm.
He sat in the car. She had to put her baby on the sidewalk in the car seat. And like these cars are behind, we're like 3 cars back, and the car that's right behind the Uber is just beeping, beeping, beeping. And she's like, you could just see the stress when she's screaming at the car behind, like, I'm trying to get my stroller and my baby out. I don't have any help. The Uber driver didn't help. And it was just like, it was just sad. And it was just like, I had a joke about like, you know, like deadbeat fathers, because I'm just like, that is just, it's an epidemic. So it's like, I made it funny, but also just like, get y'all stuff together, get it together.
Right.
Yeah, so that's where I draw inspiration from, like the change I want to see.
I love that answer, because it wasn't as if you like. I think I don't want to say typical, but I feel like I noticed a lot of people answer that question with like simply like life. But I think it's a little more in depth when you're looking for a specific thing, or like, because again, like you can be looking at the current state of life, which is like, okay, like this morning I woke up, I ain't like how I felt, so I'm gonna sing about that. But like it's different when it's like, no, I walk outside and I see little like intricacies of like life itself, like, you know, that pile up of cars, like as you explained it, I can see it, you know. And I think that's the powerful part about how we use our words, how we use our art, is we can transport people into a moment that they weren't present. Like, no one was there with you on that, but niggas could see it because you explained it that well.
Yeah.
You know? Or again, like you made them laugh about it, you know. So
yeah, it was crazy, but like that is just like I'm very observant, like of everything. So like I can draw inspiration from every aspect of life. And then I get on the phone and I talk to people. I look at even like the comment section of like the shade room is like, oh, interesting.
Right.
Yeah.
Because you can find a lot of shit going down in the comment section. So let me check our current status with Tom. Oh wow, I really don't know how to work this. Okay. So last thing we're gonna do is we're gonna have you plug them in to every place that they can find you online, whether it's Instagram, TikTok, wherever you use. Let them know, and I'll make sure it's tagged so they know where to find you.
Okay, so on Instagram, it's I Love Bunny, ILUVBUNNY. And on TikTok, it's the same thing. Yeah, but I'm mostly on Instagram. Um, I will be putting up more content. Also, I have a comedy show June 14th at Comedy in Harlem on 145th Street, and it's by the A train. That's St. Nicholas, right?
That's Edgecombe.
That's Edgecombe. Yes. So I'll have that on my Instagram. But yes, June 14th, it's a naughty lingerie. It's a lingerie comedy show.
Woo!
Yes. So I will be in lingerie. Me and my friends will be in lingerie June 14th.
Well, All my y'all all showing up to that. I know that.
Yeah, that's so funny. The flyer just came out today, so I'm like excited.
Beautiful. And this was Art for Artists. We are out. I'm Dios Mac. This is the lovely Bunny. And love to you always. Thank you for watching.
Thank